Quick disclaimer, we are not investigative journalists. We simply read, watch, and listen to whatever we can to satisfy our curiosity while use this information to form our own personal opinions. Do not take this as investigative journalism. This is simply our own rabbit holes.
Hello, friends, and get ready. We're going to talk about the docs, the crimes, and all the people involved. This is Crime and Chill. Hey guys, I'm Victoria.
And I'm Rachel.
How are you today, Rachel?
Not too bad. How are you?
I'm living my best life because I found out Paramore's coming back, and I'm so excited.
I really thought it was a joke when I saw the rumor thing a couple weeks ago. And Harry Potter is also doing a remake, so
Have they officially confirmed that, or are they just still talking about it?
they officially.
Oh my god. Okay, there's a lot of exciting things happening.
Yeah,
So before we jump into anything else, just a quick little disclaimer. If you hear stuff in the background, Rachel's youngest is home today because he has a little bit of a cold. He's fine. But just so you know, if you hear anything, you hear something that I can't cut out, it's fine. It's okay. Normally it's not like this. Just, it's fine.
He just loves you guys so much. He wants to be involved all the time.
All the time. So, what you got for crime news today, Rachel?
Alright, so I have a story that is partially out of Indiana, partially out of San Diego. On November 4th, a 20-year-old Indiana girl went missing. No one's heard from her since November 5th. Her name is Layeche, and I'm sorry if I said that wrong, Layeche Norris. She contacted her mother from a stranger's phone on November 5th, promising to call her back. She was very distressed, and it concerned her mother. She had gotten into an argument with her boyfriend, Joey or Joseph Smith, the night before. Nora said she'd call her mother back, like I said. She never did, and she's not been heard from since.
Wow.
They got into an argument, and it's not getting the news that Petito got, so it's kind of upsetting me.
Yeah, we need more coverage on that because I haven't heard of that.
Yeah, there's a Facebook group right now that is working in the San Diego area, tracing steps she may have taken, searching parks, trying to track down witnesses. There's also, they're doing like deep dive into her social media, trying to find if she's made any contact. But she has not been online nor contacted anyone since. The last known, can verify, she did speak to her mother on November 5th on a stranger's cell phone. She's called the stranger's cell phone back. They don't know where she is. They've tried contacting her boyfriend. He's nowhere to be found. They are both MIA.
Wow.
Yup.
That's insanity.
Yeah. And she's really pretty. She looks like, just your average 20-year-old girl. She is 5'8", has dark brown or black hair, brown eyes. She does have a case number for a missing person file, and we can put all of that on social media stuff.
Yeah, definitely. And I think I've seen that we have some people that listen in that area. So if you are one of the people that I've seen that listen in that area, be sure to check description boxes in our social media so you can see that. And
someone claimed on the 29th of November that they thought they saw her and Joey on a bench in front of a 7-Eleven in San Diego, but that has not been fruitful of information.
Yeah, just a possible sighting, but
yep.
If you see somebody from a distance on a bench, you could think it was anybody. That's sad. That sucks.
Why was she in San Diego? She was on a trip.
So she's not from San Diego.
She is from Indiana.
Okay.
That's why I said it's partially out of Indiana, partially out of San Diego. She was last known to be in San Diego, but she is originally and lives in Indiana.
So her and boyfriend were on a trip in San Diego. They got into an argument. She leaves. Presumably she leaves.
Yeah, she's on a stranger's phone. She doesn't have her phone.
That's insane. Have they said if they found her cell phone? If it was left somewhere?
But she didn't have her phone when she called her mother, so.
Yeah. That's crazy. All right. Well, we will be sure to post that on all our social media so everybody can see it. And if you're in the San Diego area where she was last known to be, keep an eye out.
And before I go further, her boyfriend is known to be an arsonist, supposedly. I have a link, but I can't open it, and it's really, really long, and I can't, that's just lazy, haven't typed it all. But supposedly he is a known felon
Oh, wow.
How at 20 years old are you a known felon and arson and out in the general public?
That's crazy.
But yeah, there's my little crime news for the day.
Wow.
So, with that being said, let's get on some sad news. Well,
Yep.
I mean, I guess it's all sad news.
Yeah. So today we are talking about the disappearance of Madeleine McCann. Madeleine McCann was 3 at the time of her disappearance from a resort in Portugal. She went missing.
May 3rd, 2007.
Yep, May 3rd, 2007. So she's been missing for math.
14 years.
Thank you. She's been missing for 14 years total. There has been new developments in the case as of last year, some of it going into this year. There's a lot going on. So we're going to talk about what led up to everything,
How she went missing.
what the police have believed to happen so far, and everything in between. So, start off on April 28th, 2007. The McCanns and their friends arrived for a week-long trip in Pera de los, Portugal. And they had their children. Some of the friends had children. They were all going on like this vacation at this resort, you know, as you do. I mean, I'm sure as a group of friends, that's what you do.
Really?
I mean, maybe. I'd go on a vacation with you. Let's go. I mean,
I guess I do, like, I guess Joe and Jess, but that's like a family vacation because he's my brother.
yeah.
But
I mean, I'd go on, well, definitely one like that where we were like in separate apartments where the kids could do their thing and, you know, if I need separation because, you know, I get overwhelmed at too many people, I'm like, I need to be by myself for a few minutes. Thank you.
yeah,
Perfect.
it definitely shows their, I mean, it's not like they went across, you know, a couple states like we did. It shows their affluence. They had,
Yeah.
they
So they're from Britain
yeah.
and they went to Portugal for a week-long vacation at a, like, it seems like a pretty fancy-smancy resort.
That doesn't sound like a cheap.
Oh, hell no, that was not cheap.
Yeah.
Ain't no way in hell. Even in 2007, ain't no way that's cheap.
Yeah.
So,
And they call it a holiday.
a holiday. I like it. It sounds fancy.
Me too.
So, May 3rd, 2007, the day that Madeleine did go missing, at breakfast, Madeleine had asked her parents why they didn't come the night before when her and her siblings were crying. And Kate, her mother, said that she also noticed a brown stain on Madeleine's pajama top. So, why didn't they come when they were crying? Well, let's explain. The group of adults would go to this restaurant that was 300 feet from the apartment. The table that they had reserved every night at 8:30 for the last 4 nights of their vacation, you could see the apartment, but you couldn't see, like, the doors of the McCann's apartment.
So when they talk about it all these years, I envisioned, and I had no problem with it at the time, like, this is how I would envision it until I saw it mapped out.
Mm-hmm.
That the restaurant was, like, in the middle.
Yeah.
And you would look right up to the apartment, which in my mind, it was like nothing different if I had a 2-story house and I went downstairs.
Right.
Outside. That's not what it's like.
No.
They had to walk down a sidewalk.
Around a pool.
Up to their hotel room.
Mm-hmm. Like, this was a pretty decent distance
300 yards doesn't sound far. But 300 yards when you're laughing and drinking and eating and on holiday.
And you have kids that, in the McCann's case, are 3 and 2 in this apartment or, like, condo thing by themselves while you're off having dinner and drinks with your friends.
Even though they are in bed.
They're in bed asleep. They were asleep.
Yeah, and there's conflicting information. Some people say it was only 150 away. I mean, either way, to me, when I originally heard it, I did not see, first of all, in 2007. So when this case first broke, I was watching it.
Mm-hmm. Me too.
Back then, I really didn't see a problem with it because I didn't have children. And I wasn't thinking of their ages. As I have gotten older and now have my own children, I'd be terrified. What if they got up and got out of bed? Like,
so apparently what it is
they
there
were
was,
every 30 minutes.
yeah, they were checking every 30 minutes, supposedly. When you're drinking, having laughs and hanging out, you know, you lose track of time. We all do it.
But there's witnesses that they were going up every 30 minutes.
But there's a sliding glass door that could only be locked from the inside that they left unlocked with the curtains drawn. They had a child safety gate at the top of the stairs to prevent the children from going anywhere. None of that makes sense to me because why are you, either way, I have a problem with you leaving your kids alone. That's a long walk. Even if you're going every 30 minutes.
And it's not like you had a baby monitor to hear inside the room.
No, because she's saying you didn't come when we cried. Why didn't you come when we cried?
Yeah.
And then you're telling me you noticed a stain on her pajama top and you still left her alone again that night. That's a red flag to me. So,
I mean, hindsight's 2020. I'm sure she feels the same way.
Yeah.
My problem is this is shortly after Elizabeth Smart is found.
Mm-hmm.
And that was national, worldly coverage just as much.
Yeah, that was worldwide.
To already have that idea in your mind, she's a doctor. She knows the threat, the dangers a child can hurt themselves, let alone a stranger coming in to hurt them.
Mm-hmm.
There was she has suffered a lot, so we all make mistakes. And this is a very, very big mistake. But I'm just surprised that it wasn't thought about beforehand.
Yeah, me too.
And like I said, when I thought the hotel room, like the balcony, so when it was first talked about on the news, again, I was young. I mean, I wasn't that young, I was 15. But what I was envisioning was like a hotel that was like semicircled.
Yeah.
And their hotel room looked over the outside dining.
Yep.
And she could see right up into the room.
Right.
That's what I was envisioning.
Mm-hmm.
And I personally wouldn't have done it, but I could see where I would feel a little bit more comfortable if I had to run downstairs real quick or something like that.
Yeah.
Why didn't they just put all the kids in one, like get rooms side by side and have all the kids in one room? And they had, food service brought into them so that they could be the adults and on the other side. I can understand that more.
I mean, the rooms sounds like pretty close together.
Yeah, they were. They didn't have adjoining doors, and they were way too far away.
They were way too far away. So the day before Madeleine disappeared, before they go to dinner, that day, Madeleine and her twin siblings had spent most of the day in the resort's kids club, which sounds lovely. That's a good way to, your kids get to have fun, but you also get to have some adult time. Around 2:30 in the afternoon, Kate took what is believed to be the last photo of Madeleine at a pool with her dad and her, at the time, 2-year-old little sister. So they went to the pool, they dropped the kids off at the kids club, they went to the pool, dropped the kids back off at the kids club, and then around 6 in that evening, Kate picked up the kids again. She took them back to the apartment while Gerry, the father, was at a tennis lesson, and it said that the kids were in bed and asleep by 7 p.m. Again, they had a standing reservation for the last 4 nights of their trip with their friends at 8:30 for a certain table. The staff knew it was that table. There's also being said that there was a note somewhere by the pool that said that that's the table that they were having reserved at what time, and there's been speculation if somebody saw that note in that resort. So, I mean,
that's, if you have a reserved table, there's nothing that, they may have put, their name on the table around the time so that no one took the table. You know what I mean? So that's setting up yourself to be able to be watched and known what you're doing, where you're doing.
Also, you're in a foreign country.
Yep.
That's my issue, is you're in a foreign country and you're leaving your kids unattended. You don't know, in a foreign country, you don't know who's watching. You don't know what's happening. You don't, even if I go to a different part of the state with even with my husband, I'm on high alert because sometimes
hell, even if I go to the groceries, people are crazy these days.
And it was no different in 2007. It was just not as widely talked about for some reason, and I don't know why.
And it was, though, during worldly cases, like Elizabeth Smart, J.C. Dugard, those. Yeah. There are a lot of cases. Luckily, those are 2 cases that ended up.
They had a kind of a happy ending. They were found, but, there's still emotional damage.
Yeah.
But, think about that. If you're walking back and forth every 30 minutes, what if somebody was watching?
Yeah, you can get an idea of, okay, 30 minutes, let's cap it maybe 35 minutes if they ran a little bit behind one time. You have a 15-minute window that for a fact, no adults are watching.
Yep. And there was, talks about, the dad remembers going in, but the door was, open, but he had left it closed or something like that. There was different things of the door being open, the kid's bedroom door being open. So you're telling me you noticed that there was something different in the apartment and you still went back? I wouldn't have went back if something was off. I wouldn't have. Like you said, hindsight's 2020.
No.
But
I wouldn't have done any of this.
No.
I want to know how you go on vacation and leave your kids in kids club.
I can understand some of it. I get it.
I wish I could.
Yeah.
Like, at IKEA, there's a kids club.
Yeah.
I can't do it.
That's mom guilt, though.
No, I'm just like, I don't know these people.
Mm-hmm.
Like, a daycare, you build a rapport with them, you start to know them. Like, the first couple of weeks are scary. I cannot imagine just dropping my kid off with a stranger.
I mean, a lot of people do cruise ships, too. There's, like, a kids area. So that
First of all, my kids wouldn't let it.
Oh, no. Your kids would never let you.
My kids are attached to a fucking hip. But I just couldn't do it. How do people do it? Like, I honestly want to know how they do
That's not mom shaming. That's her honestly asking. Just so anybody that's listening that is a parent, we're not mom shaming on that portion. We're just curious.
To be able to comfortably do that.
Especially with a 3 and 2 2-year-olds.
Yeah.
That's young to be leaving unattended with people you don't know in a foreign country where I don't know if they spoke the language. I don't know. But, so they go back about 10 p.m. The mom goes back to check on the children again. This is when she discovers Madeleine is gone.
And if they're checking every 30 minutes, and really the person watching should know they only have about a 15-minute window, how far could they have gone?
Yeah, how far realistically could they have gotten with that child? I mean, yes, realistically you could have gotten far if you had a van or truck or something waiting.
But there's video.
Yeah, there was video. There was nothing.
No.
So how did somebody get in and out with that child? That makes no sense. Okay, so now we're at the point where she's gone. We know that the first 48 hours are critical in any case where it's a missing person or a murder. Because that's when the DNA is fresh, that's when everything's fresh.
That's why they have a whole show about it.
Yep. I do not fault the Portugal police in this because they weren't used to dealing with this kind of thing, but the Portugal police did fuck up. They fucked it up. They allowed police dogs to go into the apartment before forensics did. I understand why. I understand what they were trying to do.
Yeah, I can understand. You have a quick time to grab the child's scent, to be able to trace the scent. How much DNA was he really going to leave behind? How much could they have really fucked up with a dog who is trained to follow a scent? I understand why they did it.
There's other ways to go about it, which is bringing something out of the home for the dog to smell.
Yep.
I understand, it was a high-tense situation. I get it. Was it right? No. Do I fault them? Also no, because they weren't used to it. There was also...
Why did they wait so long to call the police?
So from my understanding, they just thought maybe she got out and went wandering, and they were trying to find her in the resort.
I don't care.
No, I would have called the police. I would have immediately.
From 10 to 2? They didn't call, whatever Portugal's 911 is until 2.
Yeah, that's a long time.
That's, I would have been sick. Like, literally sick.
And this is why people have looked at the parrots.
Within 15 minutes, I've been done.
Like, I understand, quick, run around, let me see if she's in this immediate area real quick, because if she got out the door, she got over that gate somehow, she got out the door that was unlocked.
I'm sorry, it wasn't 2. I don't know how to read 2100 hours shit. It was 1.
Okay, but still, that's hours.
Hours.
And then supposedly, it's everywhere, so I kind of believe it, but the people that were doing the ground searching for the Portugal police weren't really trained to be doing that. They were basically kind of like glorified security guards. They didn't know what they were doing, which means messing up evidence, essentially. And then, they had people going in and out of the crime scene, where this kid was. There was a lot of things that were done wrong. Again, this is 2007, so of course things aren't going to be done perfectly. They can try. That's every investigation. You can try to do everything to a T, but you're going to mess up. It happens. Human error is a thing. But from my understanding, pretty much every sample they took from there was contaminated with either somebody else's DNA or dog DNA. Like the hair falling off of a dog. I have a dog that sheds like crazy. I would not take my dog in somewhere like that because his hair would get everywhere in 2 seconds flat. So, it's just... And then the fact of, before they even finished the investigation, the resort had cleaned and rented out the apartment again. What? I would think rule number 1 would be locking it down.
And they did for all of 4 or 5 hours.
Yeah, that's ridiculous.
Their hotel stay wasn't even technically over yet.
So to me, that's just insane. Again, I don't completely fault the Portugal police for messing up, but I do a little bit. There were some things that should have been common sense. But also, like I said, with the dog thing, I don't fault them. You were trying you took the dogs in to follow a scent, to get a scent so you could try and find this little girl. I don't blame you. I understand. So for a very, very long time, that's where it was left. She was gone. That's all they had.
They stayed in Portugal for a long time too.
They did. The Portugal police did investigate the parents. There was a lot going on with that. There was some statements of somebody, I don't remember exactly who it was in the party, but somebody of the friend group saw a man carrying a young girl, but that was not backed up by anything, apparently.
Yeah, they investigated. There were a couple other witnesses that claimed to have seen her too being carried by another man.
But can we be realistic here? A little white girl with blonde hair being carried by somebody that also apparently was a white male. Nobody was going to look at that sideways, especially in Portugal.
Well, yeah.
Again, this is a resort where it was very touristy. So
let's zoom ahead. So she goes missing in May.
Yep.
They stay in Portugal. On July 31st of that year, they take cadaver dogs in, and they are trained to only bark for corpse.
Yep.
They can do it underwater, ground, all of it. Because some people insist that cadaver dogs can't smell dead bodies underwater.
They can.
They can. They go into the house that the McCanns are renting while they're in Portugal trying to find their daughter. And the dog does alert them of a dead body. The McCann's lawyer says, well, it alerts to a box of clothes that are Kate's, the mother's.
Mm-hmm.
The lawyer says, well, she is a doctor dealing with bodies. A corpse could be on her clothes. I've looked into that, and technically it is true.
I mean, yeah.
The scent can stay for years.
Yeah.
But still.
Yeah. I have very strong feelings about this case. We'll get into that in a little while. But again, it was left off as the Portugal police were investigating the parents. They believed the parents to be at fault, that they did something to their daughter, that there was an accident of some sort, and they were trying to cover it up because they were affluent people. I didn't say that right. I don't care. They weren't millionaires by any means, but they were rich, and they were well known from where they were from. Again, Kate was a doctor. I don't remember what Gerry did.
Doctor as well.
Oh, okay. So you have two doctors.
But he works in the medical field as well.
Yeah, so you have two people in a medical field, obviously well known in their areas. If they're that good of doctors to be able to go on a week-long vacation to Portugal, because that's not cheap by any means. No way in hell that was cheap.
He's a cardiologist.
A cardiologist. Okay. For the longest time, really, it was they were looking into the parents, and then it ended up getting dropped because they couldn't prove anything.
Actually, it wasn't just dropped. The parents were cleared.
Yeah, they were cleared.
Yeah, the parents were cleared, and I do not believe they were involved. I think they made a lot of poor choices.
Yeah.
But I don't think they killed their daughter. I don't think it was an accident or otherwise. Both of them are very, well-known doctors and had more than enough ability, if something did happen, to have, helped her.
Yeah.
I don't believe they killed her. I believe they made a lot of poor choices.
Yeah.
But I don't believe they killed her. And if they did kill her, why are they continuing to bring it to the media?
I don't think they killed her.
They are the ones bringing it to the media.
Yeah. I don't think they killed her. I do agree that there was a lot of mistakes. To me, if you are a doctor and you saw a brown stain on your daughter's pajamas, why did you not immediately contact authorities? Because if that was not there, there's no sense for it to be there. If it was not, if you could tell as a doctor, it wasn't
She
poop,
didn't say it wasn't blood. She didn't. So she said she doesn't. You would know if it's blood.
Yeah.
You would know if it's poop.
Yeah.
I have no clue what half the stains get on my kid are.
Yeah. But a doctor.
No, I mean literally. Like,
yeah.
Kids get into shit. It could have been a marker. It could have been anything.
But if you were concerned, like you said, you were concerned that they were crying and you didn't hear them and you weren't there.
Part.
Then why did you go out that night?
That part is where I have a problem. If she was upset that you didn't hear her crying, I would have felt so freaking guilty. I'd been done.
Yep.
If I didn't know they were upset,
some way of hearing what was going on inside the apartment, it would have been a little bit different.
Not much different. Knowing now where I could the trace.
Yeah.
Even if you heard something, you couldn't have gotten back to them fast enough if
Nope.
somebody was in there with a knife or something. You know what I mean?
Nope.
Like if the object was to hurt, you could not get back fast enough.
No. That's where it was left. Nobody knew what happened. Nobody had anything until October 2020. In October of 2020, German police announced they had a suspect that they were looking into named Christian Bruckner. If you Google Christian Bruckner, Germany, you're also going to find like a composer, just so you know. Mm-hmm. It's not that guy. But Christian is from Germany. in 1995. He was 19 at the time. Okay, he was in prison in Germany for raping a 72-year-old woman. That's it. Or 70-something-year-old woman in Germany in the 90s. Fled to Portugal after he got out of prison. He was a little over a kilometer away from the resort where he lived. That is a little over half a mile. Probably when you round it up, it's probably closer to a mile when you add everything together. So that's where he lived, was about a mile or less from the resort. In 2005, Christian raped a 72-year-old woman in Portugal. He broke into her home. He tortured her. He beat her. He raped her for hours. He videotaped this entire assault. So they knew he did it. There was another assault that had happened in that around that same time frame, where an Irish woman was raped in 2004, where she was tortured. It was filmed. They didn't know who did it, but it really fits Christian's, MO. So after he goes back there, he really, for some reason, so he didn't want to tell the Portugal police where he lived.
Why would he? I mean, what criminal wants to be like, hey, I live right here?
Yeah. So when they're doing this thing for the rape of the 72-year-old woman, he has a friend go and take computers and USB drives and all this crap out of his house. So that way, if somehow the police do find where he lives, they don't have that. But instead of telling the Portugal police where he lived, where they probably would have put him on home detention or something, possibly, he chose to go to prison. Obviously, he wasn't in there long. Then in June of 2007, Christian moved to Brunswick. Anyway, Christian was in Brunswick for a short time. He ran a kiosk in Brunswick next to a kindergarten. A kiosk is like a little mini mart as far as that goes. And multiple people said all his girlfriends were much younger than him. They said that the girlfriends had said that he was abusive, that he would strangle the women if they did not do what he wanted. Talks of him wanting to make a dungeon in his home, like a soundproof dungeon.
He had a cave.
Yeah, we find out later he did have a cave. Then we go to May 2nd, 2015, 8 years after Madeleine's disappearance, almost to the day. Another little girl, 2 hours from where Christian was living at the time, went missing. There was a van matching the description of the one he owned that was seen. That little girl was never found, unfortunately. We keep seeing these. It's sad. Like I said, in 2020, German police did announce that he was a suspect, and they did say that they had strong evidence that Madeleine is dead. Unfortunately, I feel like we all already kind of knew that at this point.
See,
I don't want to say it. I didn't want it to be that, but I mean, at that point, I think we all kind of assumed she was probably dead.
My thing is what made him switch his MO?
So I don't think he really switched his MO. So I think he went after vulnerable people.
Yeah, but to go from old people, I'm sorry if we have any listeners over the age of 60, that is a very different vulnerability.
It is.
A 5'3", that age, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
It's totally different.
It's a different kind of vulnerability, but he went after vulnerable people. So in 2013, we're going to jump back a little bit. In 2013, the McCanns appeared on German television talking about Madeleine's disappearance. There was a sketch shown on the TV of someone that was around the resort at the time, and somebody did call in and explained it reminded them of Christian, gave his name, did everything.
Again, he only lived less than a mile from this resort. He could have been known, you know what I mean? Like a remembrance of...
He could have just been around.
Yeah.
Doesn't mean he did anything, just could have been around.
He's a con. I mean...
This is where the German police, they inadvertently messed up. Because they did reach out to Christian, letting him know that through a letter that they wanted to talk to him. They inadvertently let him know that he was a suspect. That wasn't their intention.
He also knew he would become a prime suspect, though.
Yeah. It's what their intention was, which is normal practice, is to say, if they put a sketch out, they're going to say, this person might know something, instead of saying, we suspect they did this. Because if you say that...
We suspect you did this, you're going to go hiding.
They're going to go hiding, and nobody that's super close to them is going to say anything. But if they say, oh, we think they saw something and just might not remember, but we want to talk to them, more people are likely to say something. So, he never showed up to the police station when they first wanted to talk to him, obviously.
I mean, his former girlfriend made a statement in November of this year.
She did.
Talking about the McCann girl and how she brought it up to him. I think it was 2014 or something.
Something like that, yeah.
And he had, like, it was at a party. He just kind of stood back from the conversation. She felt like he knew more by the way he
acted and was carrying himself.
Yeah.
Body language speaks louder than words sometimes.
And he claimed to her that he knows about Maddie. He lived at the hotel at the time. He was living in the area. And I'm not going to say anything more. I'm not a stupid guy.
Yeah.
Okay. But she feared him. He was violent towards her and controlling.
Mm-hmm. So, I mean, it's just based on, like, anything that's put... if
plus,
you
there
go
was a
read...
huge age gap between that girlfriend that he was with for a very long time. She was 17. He was 36 when they got together.
Yeah. He liked his women young.
Yeah, which is why I really don't understand what happened in 2007, because that's really where his interest changes from older vulnerability to younger vulnerability. Psychologically, I need to understand.
Yeah. He did switch. There's not ever really a rhyme or reason why they switch, and you don't see it that often. Really, in like any serial sexual assault, serial rape, serial murderers. You
see them evolve.
You see them evolve, but you don't see their demographic of what they go after change much.
Yeah, like not to that drastic of a change.
Unless you're fucking Night Stalker, you kill any and everybody and don't give a shit.
Yeah. But he also has an obsession with child pornography. And as much as they found, it looked like it was an ongoing obsession. So, I do believe he was involved because there's no other person.
Yeah.
But I want to know what caused the involvement. Like, what?
I don't think I want to know just because I don't want to know that much of sickness. Like, while I'm interested in crime, I'm interested in all that, there's certain things I don't want to know.
Psychologically, if you know more, you do more. So if you can see where somebody's changing and understand the change, I feel like maybe we can stop this from happening.
Yeah.
More.
So while the police are investigating him, like he was in prison for something else in Germany, a rape and child pornography. So they found, and it was like an old abandoned warehouse. So the girlfriend owned this property where there was
nobody knew about it.
That nobody knew about. There was a warehouse there, and they went inside. They found computers and hard drives, USB drives, and a lot of these things were hidden in plastic bags buried under his dead dog. You were trying to hide shit. They found 8,000 plus pictures and videos.
Of children.
It
was a secret compound is what the news is calling it.
Yeah.
New York Post says.
They found a camper that was like an American-style camper. Apparently there's differences. I wasn't aware. They found swimsuits of little girls inside the camper. So again, but like I said, there was the first appearance of Madeleine's parents on German television where there was calls. That same interview was played again in 2017 on the anniversary of her disappearance, and there was more tips about Christian. So they're investigating Christian. They think Christian did it. They have pretty much, seems like they don't have much doubt in their mind that Christian was involved in some way, shape, or form.
And that compound, is what the news is calling it. So the police discover a secret compound linked to suspect in Madeleine McCann case. The father of the ex-girlfriend, the former German girlfriend, Nicole Fligner, he was with her at the time. According to the report, it belonged to her, and it came to light after the German federal authorities interviewed the ex-girlfriend's father. He told the police that no one knows that my daughter not only had a private residence in Portugal at her disposal, but also had a separate compound. No one has ever searched there, or the property has never been turned up in connection with Madeleine. So he's the one that really starts bringing to light that Christian had access to all of this.
Yeah. But then that leads me to question, did she know? Did she have any idea and she was just that scared of him?
I don't know. But the compound was overgrown with weeds and guarded by 4 aggressive, tangled dogs day and night. Did they even know the compound was there? Did they see it? Maybe they didn't.
Yeah. I mean, if it's overgrown, you're just going to assume nobody owns that and it's an abandoned piece of property. If you do see it.
But if I'm looking for a missing girl, maybe this is just the weird crime in me, but like, I'm going to look at things that are looking abandoned, stow away.
Yep. Same. I'm right there with you.
But yeah,
I 100% agree. I would have been looking at all these abandoned looking properties.
Ex-father-in-law. And I actually have a picture of what the property
I've seen it.
Overhead looked like.
Mm-hmm. It looks very inconspicuous.
I mean, it has a fucking pool.
Yeah.
Not a pool of means, but a pool.
Yeah. I mean, you just have to think about it in the way of how many properties around here are just overgrown because
nobody. How many times do they find dead bodies in them?
All the time. All the time.
Like, how many times do you drive in areas that in your sick mind you think, wow, this would be a good place to hide a body?
I don't think that. I do think, oh, there's a dead body in there. I don't think a good place to hide a body, Rachel. We need to talk.
I mean, I wouldn't go killing bodies. I'm just saying, like, if I'm going to be... You get what I'm saying.
I get what you're saying. I do.
You can infer, okay, like, this looks like something I need to check out.
Yeah. If I was brave and I had balls, I would not go alone. Okay. I'm calling you and being like, Rachel, I think there's a dead body in here. Come on.
I don't know. If I already suspect enough that I think I would just call police. Mainly because I'm afraid of my DNA being found there because I went and looked, and then I call police. The police would be like, why didn't you just call us first? You know what I mean?
Because I'm nosy.
Oh, yeah, I'm nosy, but I'm also not stupid about trespassing on a property that I don't need to be on, but have dams. And
I mean, yeah. I mean, it's not like we didn't go into abandoned properties as teenagers.
As a teenager, though.
Yeah.
I'm an adult now, and I understand.
I mean, honestly.
How many times do you drop a cigarette butt down and think, God, they got my DNA?
Never. I literally never drop cigarette butts on the ground because I'm paranoid.
See, every time I ever do it, I go back and pick it up because I'm like, fuck that.
Also, littering.
Oh, yeah.
Don't litter. Don't litter, don't kidnap, don't murder, don't rape. Don't do any of it. But, I mean, I think we can come to the consensus that Christian had something to do with it.
If he doesn't, he is in a ring that I think knows.
So that's what I was about to say. So this is my theory, is that there was a sex offender ring or pedophile ring in that area. Christian was a part of it because, you know, maybe that's what raping the 72-year-old woman was. Maybe that's what it was, is he was having to get in that ring, and they said, well, you have to do something to prove that you're not going to rat us out. Well, now you got dirt on me, so I'm not going to rat you out.
Back in 2007, when the internet wasn't being monitored the way that it is, I mean, I was looking into a case the other day where there was a cannibalism market on the internet. Yep. Like, you can look back at the website. I don't remember how you do it. It's like way back something, but you can see the website from its original time.
Yep.
And I've seen it. Literally talking about eating people.
I've seen it because I was curious.
So, I mean, there was definitely
shit on the internet. To backtrack a little bit, since we're talking about the internet, let's go back a little bit of when he was in Germany. The police were in a pedophile chat room. You guys remember chat rooms? Where Christian was talking about...
Dead from chat room.
I don't know how I'm not dead from chat rooms. But they did talk to Christian in these chat rooms where he was talking about, like, wanting to hunt down little girls or little things and play with them and torture them and videotape and blah, 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 blah. So they had Christian in their sights before any of this happened. But it just took until he actually acted, because that's the thing. While you can sit there and say, well, we talked to him in a chat room and he was saying these things, unless you can prove that somebody acted on them or was a danger past saying something, usually nothing's going to come of it.
See, which, to me, that they can't do anything. Why can't they do, why isn't there a way that you can, if someone's talking about it, get them on conspiracy of?
I mean, because if somebody talks about committing suicide, that you can have them...
hold for 72 hours.
Yeah. So why can't it be the same thing to make sure, to then check their computers, to then check everything to make sure that, as much as sick and disgusting as it is, it's just talk.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I don't understand.
I don't understand either.
Maybe we should change legislation. Whatever.
So, final thoughts. Let's wrap up here. I think Christian had something to do with it. I don't think he's solely the only person. I think there's a ring. I think there's multiple people involved in it. As far as the parents go, as Kate and Gerry McCann go.
Kate just now went back to work in 2020 to help with the pandemic. She had been out of work that entire time working on looking for her daughter.
Yep. So I don't think the parents had anything to do with her disappearance or subsequent murder.
And they have a website.
I do think they messed up. I do think they made mistakes as parents. And I
think we all make mistakes as parents, and some...
It's just a very big mistake.
Some just have bigger consequences.
Yeah. I mean, obviously, I'm not a parent, so I don't tend to speak on the parents in certain cases because...
I just don't understand them.
Yeah. As a non-parent, I can't imagine leaving a child, let alone my child, anybody's child, alone, unattended, and I'm 300 plus feet away. And it's going to take me time to get over there, and I'm only going back every 30 minutes. No.
Why have they not done an age progression image since you would have been 9?
I think because they figured she's dead and they're not
progressing. No, the parents do not. They have updates.
Yeah.
Their last update was from May of this year.
I mean, this is where I'm conflicted here. Is we have two options. Either she's dead, they did whatever they were going to do with their sick, twisted selves and murdered her, or she's alive, stuck in a human trafficking ring somewhere.
Yep.
I don't know which is worse.
I don't know either, but I think it's sad to see these parents continuing to try to fix their mistake.
Yeah. I think they're well aware, obviously, especially now. Like, they're well aware they messed up.
Well, I mean, how could they not be well aware? They have parents all over the fucking world telling them they're trash.
Yeah.
I mean...
But then there's also people asking, I've seen this on a couple things, like where I was reading, that they're like, well, why would they go and take just one child when there was 3 children ready and available? I don't have answers for that, because I don't understand the way those people's minds work.
I have thought about the fact that you can only pick up one child.
Yeah.
To carry 3 kids awakened out of their sleep.
Trying to keep them quiet.
Yeah.
You know, you can't do it. Realistically, you can't do it. If it was a ring,
but
and there was multiple people involved, then...
multiple people went in to get her. That would have been...
I don't think multiple people went in to get her. I think one person went in to get her. It would not surprise me if it was Christian. But I think as far as, like, you know, stuff's been coming out more and more about, like...
I want to read the book.
I haven't read the book.
Me neither, but her mother wrote a book.
So, Rachel, final thoughts. Is Christian responsible?
According to German police, they 100% believe he's responsible. I do not like to place all the focus on one suspect until there's proof.
Yeah, you know, I don't know about other systems, but American system is innocent until proven guilty.
Well, fuck that. You're not innocent until proven guilty. But at the same time, I don't want to focus all the attention on one person where we don't have any evidence other than he lived in the area and he was a known sex offender. There's no sex offender.
As far as what's public.
Right.
So,
I mean...
Do you think he was involved?
I don't see how he could not have been. But until they prove without a shadow of a doubt, I don't want them focusing all on one person. I want them to continue to try to prove it.
I agree.
I agree. Don't focus and just say, okay, he did it. I need reasons why and who and how do you know? Because if you don't have that, she could still be out there and you're not looking because you're so focused on this one person.
Yep.
Or she could be buried somewhere rotting away and we're not even finding her because we already think he killed her. And okay, those parents still deserve her body back.
There's also supposed he wrote a letter. Christian did.
He wrote a cartoon.
Yeah, saying that he was being set up.
Yeah.
Essentially.
And there was also another one where it's like the clairvoyant who claimed to have known. And have you seen that cartoon? He taunts investigators with a cartoon, and he is handing the clairvoyant. And that letter is supposedly not true, according to the parents.
Whose parents? Madeleine's parents?
Yep. That was false rumors, never to be proven. But he did send. It was obtained by a German newspaper. Shows the prosecutor in court wearing black legal gown and holding a $5 bill, asking clairvoyant for more information because he thinks that's how they got their information. Like there's no evidence. They're just using this psychic to try to figure out their life.
What he has said.
Okay, the letter did not state that there was evidence or proof that Madeleine is dead. The MPS continued to investigate Madeleine's disappearance as a missing person investigation. No letter has ever been received by the Met from the German prosecutor.
Yeah, and the clairvoyant is claiming that Madeleine's remains are buried in a forest just a few miles from where she vanished.
Yep.
It's given police exact coordinates of where he thinks her body is in Portugal.
But no one has searched.
And believes she was killed within hours of going missing. This person has successfully located the remains of several people, but they just contacted them like in May of 2021. You know, they're saying, he's also saying that they haven't actually questioned him or spoken to him. They're just going off of this person, which if somehow, I don't question the clairvoyant thing because I don't know. I mean, it's cool.
Oh, well, I believe in clairvoyance. But I also believe that sometimes the images can be distorted.
Yes.
And so even if they think they can see it, it may not be in the location that they believe it to be.
Yeah.
If it is a true psychic, I believe in true psychics.
Yeah.
So maybe they just have the wrong spot, or
if they haven't even checked that spot.
Yeah.
But this person supposedly has helped find several other people's remains. So I would check. I really would.
Yeah. A cost for what you've already put into this investigation.
Yep.
I know the family has been taking private donations this entire time for private investigators. The book sales all go towards her their search for her.
Mm-hmm. All right. Well, I think we're going to wrap it up there because there's really nothing else on this case. If we ever do get a conviction, we'll be sure to let y'all know. But right now, it's just hearsay, possible. They really, the German police believe that Madeleine is dead. They stated so in October 2020. They believe that Christian had something to do with it. Like I said, we're not mom shaming anybody. We're not parent shaming anybody, but we do believe the parents messed up. I think everybody can agree on that. I don't think there's a question in anybody's mind on that.
Though even if this person was lurking in the shadows, he could have grabbed her at any time.
Yep.
So even if they didn't leave the room that night, and she was either at kid care or they were at the pool, and the mom just turned her back for just a second.
Yep.
She could have been gone. So
I mean, it's a lot. It's a lot.
It's a sad story. I think they've got enough of their own guilt that I'm not going to place further. Not that they're going to listen, but
no.
I
agree.
That I know they do not have a spokesperson. They do not have a lawyer talking for them.
No.
They are letting the police do their work and in hopes that one day they find her.
Yep. Well, on that note, we're going to wrap it up. Next week, we will be starting a series. So it's going to be a 4-week-long series.
And it is juicy. And I spent hours on hours.
So just so you guys have the heads up, starting next week for the next 4 weeks, you are going to be getting something about the same case, but it's all different information and different aspects of the investigation.
Multiple cases within
one family. If you know what we're talking about, come on over to Crime and Chill Fam and tell us what we're talking about. We would love to talk to you about it. But thanks for tuning in this week, guys. Be sure to follow us on social media on the Tickety Talks, the Facebook, the Instagram, the Twitters. Join our Facebook group, Crime and Chill Fam, to talk crime with us and tell us your thoughts on this case. Where do you fall in this suspect? Do you think he did it? Do you think there was a ring?
Do you think they should continue to investigate?
Do you think the parents should have been cleared? What you got? Tell me information.
Do you think the parents should have been charged with leaving their children alone?
That's my thing. I think they should have been charged with child endangerment. That's just me. Do what you will with that.
In Portugal?
I don't know.
But I think they should have had some repercussion, although I guess the guilt enough. But either way, let's hear about it.
Yep. All right. And we will see you guys next week. Thanks for tuning in. Bye.